Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We promised you that we were going to do a part two to the last podcast. Well, the podcast before the last one
hmm
around rupture within relationships when you grew up with family dynamics and family structures where you did not learn how to fight, how to engage in conflict in a way that was like useful.
hmm
And so we're coming back. We've tried to record this like
times.
a couple of times.
Yeah.
Between technological difficulties and actual conflict while trying to record a podcast about repair. We're here now
And we have a lot to say.
and we're excited to be here.
Yeah.
So what we're going to be exploring today is, what does aftercare look like in deep, intimate relationships and friendships when repairing was not modeled for us? And how do we learn to return to love and trust?
Yeah. So I think for me, it starts as an individual commitment, right? A commitment to stay connected with someone without using the tool of blaming or shaming or guilting yourself or another person for something that is something that you are trying to navigate,
Yeah.
right? So that personal commitment really goes deep into the heart of what is it at stake here? What is it, what is the most important thing here?
Mhm.
Is to stay connected with the person that you want to be with.
Yeah.
I know for me, it's been very challenging to create a model for myself that I can consistently hold myself to, especially since my m- MO has been to avoid
Mm.
or to deflect or allow my ego to get so inflamed and so big that I don't think there is anything that I could have possibly done wrong. Or if I feel like I've done something wrong, I will start to feel ashamed of myself. Right.
Yeah.
So navigating that is really challenging, but it's not impossible, you know?
Yeah, because I think sometimes a lot of this stuff can feel really theoretical, right? In
Yeah.
theory, we should be able to fight, admit each other, admit our part of the equation,
Yeah.
say that we're going to make amends, and then, ooh la la, we're together again. We're we're in love, you know?
Yeah.
But and I think that is possibly how easy it is for people who had it modeled to
Mm,
them.
that's true.
When you look at psychology and it tells you the science of when the ego is formed and when a sense of self is formed, and when a lot of these patterns are initially ingrained in us, you realize that trying to learn these new patterns in your 20s, 30s,
hmm
40s
hmm
is a little far away from, say, 5-year-old, 7-year-old.
Yeah.
So I really like what you said about how it's been challenging creating a model for yourself that you
Yeah.
can reliably go back to
Yeah.
over and over again.
hmm
Okay, so then you said your ego can feel really challenging to navigate.
Yeah.
So then what does that look like, navigating that in real life, right? So a conflict arises,
hmm
in your head, intellectually that it takes two people to tango. It takes two multiple people to tango. And that invariably you had a part of it. Let's say your part is objectively the lesser part.
Yeah.
How do you still navigate naming your lesser part, even if it's as little as 1%?
Yeah. That's a good question because naming that lesser part is, for me, it looks like at least communicating that this thing that I'm going through feels really hard. It
Mm.
feels really challenging. Coming to that state of being vulnerable and saying it without making without making myself feel like I'm a bad person, without even going that route. Just first assume that I can give myself the level of compassion and understanding that if there is a part that I played in it, just say, hey, I may not know how I've contributed to this,
Yeah.
but it's really hard for me to sit with this emotion that I'm feeling. And the emotion really is like disconnection. It's like disconnection, misunderstanding, misinterpretation. Maybe I don't know what's happening and I'm creating stories and I want to interrupt those stories. So just saying that, communicating, this is really hard for me to navigate. I don't actually know what's going on, but I'm here and available to talk about it.
Yeah.
And normally this can come for me after I've sat with myself and I go through this, like I ruminate over it over and over again, trying to rewrite what happened, trying to assume I know this is what you did, or I know this is what I did. I'm obviously not at fault. That you should be the one to say something. But really, without putting any blame, just recognizing, hey, I don't know. Like I'm making these stories and perhaps those stories are just not true.
Yeah.
And it's the courage to say I don't know is really the opening space for having dialogue so that things can begin to move.
Do you find
Yeah.
yourself able to say that you don't know? Like let's say out of 10 times, how consistently?
Probably, I'll say like half.
Yeah.
Half the time.
Yeah.
Like it's always a toss up, 50-50.
Yeah.
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 It really is. It depends on my mood. It depends on my my comfort level to sit with discomfort, because I think that's when my ego gets really big, when I cannot sit with the fact of like I don't know something right now.
Yeah.
I must know. It must be understood. It must be you.
Yeah.
If it's definitely not me, it must be you. But at times when I cannot sit with it, I don't know, it really is a 50-50 toss-up.
Yeah.
And I hope on the better days I can be on the other side of the 50-50 and say, hey, I don't know. Like, this is really hard.
Yeah.
So.
The reason why I asked that question is that for me, I lean intellectual before I do somatic. And so what often helps me is the logic of it. And just thinking of the fact that, okay, it's literally everything I know about psychology, everything I know about neuroscience, or is that neuroscience? Neuropsych, just the physiology of it all. When it comes to interacting, knowing that the amygdala is online, knowing that the prefrontal cortex is offline, knowing that, like, logically, it cannot possibly be the other person's fault, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
and that's something that I learned from you.
yeah.
Having that, like, it's that 1% still exists, whether it's you or me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's very black and white.
Yeah.
And that's how I've seen the world as a child. Everything is black and white. There's a good and a bad. There's never like, we could both be in this dance together.
Yeah. And so then the logic of it calms me down.
Okay.
A lot. Because then I'm able to say, okay, I solidly believe that you did this thing and it's 90% your fault. I believe that 100%. Like, you cannot convince me otherwise. And so I don't try in that moment to try to say it's anything other than what I believe for it to be. But when I'm able to step out and say, okay, great, you have two options here. You can focus on their 90% or you can focus on your 10%. And I find that approach really is grounded in having interdependence as a politic. Because ultimately, right, if it's your fault, I'm still in relationship with you. And like, that matters to me.
Yeah.
And so this is how it is theoretically.
Yeah.
The question is, in practice, how often am I able to arrive there? How often or how quickly? Sometimes, because sometimes I do think that speed matters if you let it fester for too long, then the stories like multiply.
Yeah.
So how
true.
quickly am I able to arrive to the place where I'm like, okay, even if you are 90% at fault, how does it serve me to castigate you when you matter to me? Your well-being matters to me. And okay, so sure, I point out that it's your fault. Bet. So now you feel bad. Or that I insist that I had no part to play at all and
Yeah.
it's completely you and only you.
Yeah.
So now you feel bad. And then what do I gain from that?
Mm.
And not even like you feel bad as in, it doesn't make me feel better.
Yeah.
Even if you are able to say, even
Yeah.
if you do say it is 100% your fault.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So that's a big part of how I navigate it. And similar to you, it's 50-50. It's a
Yeah.
toss up
Mm-hmm.
if I'm able to consistently carry that out, or if I'm just like, sometimes I just dig in and
Yeah.
I'm not shifting.
Yeah.
And to that, I will say that is also acceptance is really helpful. Acceptance of the absurdity of existence, of human interaction. The fact that we even have to navigate this feels so absurd to me that me not being able to follow through with that 100% of the time,
Yeah.
I lean into the fact that that is also what existence looks like.
Yeah.
An acceptance of, I'm going to fuck up 50% of the time, maybe less, in the way I repair, and that is all part of the process. So then I
Mm-hmm.
can not be so anxious. I can be a little bit more easeful
Yeah.
when conflict arises.
Mm-hmm.
Just an inherent acceptance that conflict is a part of existence.
Yeah.
So then, especially because when you think of it, like we're two strangers. Yeah, we've been together going on 4 years, but we're two strangers
Mm-hmm.
trying to make a life work. And even with my friends, similarly, we're strangers trying to love each other, trying to make our lives work. We're going to rub each other the wrong way, and we're not always going to know how to repair, and the ways we repair are going to be different from
Yeah.
each other, and it's going to cause tension.
Yeah.
And can I live in a non-judgmental acceptance of that tension?
Yeah. I really like that perspective. Because it recognizes our humanity to be imperfect. It's a trueness of of human nature to be imperfect, to not be so black and white,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that acceptance has, like, hearing that from you and just seeing you and witnessing you model that has also brought more curiosity in navigating repair with you.
Yeah.
Like,
Cause like niggas
yeah,
gonna fight.
yeah,
We gonna fight.
yeah, like running, crossing each other or misinterpreting each other is inevitable. To pretend that it should never exist, again, models this like purity ideology
And that's white
or
supremacy.
punitive ideology.
It's white
that
supremacy,
misbehaving,
religious, yeah.
just anything that deviates from rightness, or like it's like not necessarily rightness, but like strictness,
Yeah.
should be punished,
Yeah.
should be admonished, should be like, there's a whole method, a whole model of carrying out if somebody offends you. And there's no model for really seeing your own humanity in the other person as they are not perfect, because that is being a human being.
So
right?
it's two pronged here.
Yeah,
Niggas gonna fight.
we definitely will.
People gonna fight. And the second part of people gonna mess up repairing after a fight.
Absolutely. And you're going to try that again and again until it feels like an easy process to embody.
Even then, it's just going to be easier.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever going to feel easy. Have you ever seen
I see.
couples who've been married for 50 years bicker?
I feel like I might have seen it on like social media or something, or
like
movies and
I've
things.
seen it in person.
Yeah.
People be bickering.
Yeah.
You know? And then I think it's just being able to move with it as a dance.
Yeah.
It feels almost like Tai Chi or
Qigong.
Qigong or something like that.
No, you stayed in Tai Chi and Qigong. What you know about? What you know?
I've been listening.
You be listening to me?
I've been listening to you.
Okay,
So it's
cute,
like,
cute.
what does that, and even in just like meditation
Yeah,
practice, how do you accept what is for us
yeah.
is
Judgmental.
non-judgmentally,
That's true.
So that's a big part of
Yeah,
it. So even as we have this conversation about how
yeah.
to repair better, bottom line, sometimes repair is not going to be easy. It's not going to be smooth sailing. And not even sometimes, a lot of the times,
Mm-hmm. That's
And
the baseline for opening curiosity.
yeah,
That space for being curious, to reconnect. Like, what does that look like?
yeah,
Our brain does not have the practice of doing it. So we go this punitive route
yeah,
because that's our, like you were saying, the amygdala wants to like do a thing and
yeah.
doesn't want to like pause. There's more here.
Yeah.
We can work this out. It's going to be hard. It's going to be new. And we may not know, which is actually a good thing. The less you know, the more you can open yourself to becoming,
Yeah.
So,
Having said that,
yeah.
I want to get into the actual nitty-gritty of it, right? Like, I am someone who has generally been anxiously attached, if we're going to use that framework.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that has meant that when a rupture happens, I want it handled
Mm-hmm.
immediately.
Yeah.
Not being able to sit in my body, not being able to let time pass, or just like let it not be addressed there and then has historically been really hard for me. And so I'm going to speak to anybody who is anxiously attached. Some of the things that I've learned that has really helped me and helped me become more securely attached is really learning how to sit in my body. That has been a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And what that looks like in practice is sitting and reminding myself that this is a pattern that I'm usually engaged in. I am anxiously attached, so then I feel an urgency to handle things right now and not right now and here. That is not a new pattern to me. So don't freak out. Reminding myself not to freak out, that it doesn't mean that if things are not addressed right now, I'm not lovable. I won't be lovable. We won't come back together to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
And historically, I can point back and say that that's not true.
Yeah.
But I am curious, though, for you, when you're navigating being in conflict and
Yeah.
repair with me, knowing that I can present anxiously attached, how do you navigate that?
So, like you processing being in conflict and learning to sit in your body, I am in the process of learning to use my voice more and sit less removed, like be less removed from the process.
Mm-hmm.
So I model more of a disorganized attachment style. So I can be avoidant or I can be anxious.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere in the middle is where I'm trying to straddle.
Mm-hmm.
So learning to use my voice and say what's the most uncomfortable thing for me as soon as I see that opening. And that's something that I've learned from you. When I'm able to sit in my body and think about what just happened, and the minute I feel that ease, that release of emotional tension or pain, I do my best to say something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sitting up and walking to you and saying, hey, if I have recognized I'm the one that did something, I can say
Yeah.
like, I'm so sorry. I I know what I did has hurt you and I'm really trying to work on this. And I try to express as vulnerably as I can that I'm working on being able to come back to you when I am feeling very offended or very hurt. And it's still difficult for me to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm working on being more vocal. That's something that as a child was either beaten out of me or
Mm.
discouraged is to stand up for myself.
Yeah.
So when I know that that's something that I'm practicing for myself, I'm going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
So as someone that is navigating, knowing what to say when things feel really, really hard, just saying anything, something, allows me to practice my voice, using
Yeah.
my voice, and hopefully seeing, hopefully that you can see the work that I'm doing
Yeah, no,
and be present with it.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I absolutely see it. And it's going back to what you said about when you notice the tension has left your body, like there's a moment, right?
Yeah.
Isn't there? Like
Yeah.
it's one of the biggest things I've learned and I've gifted myself like in my 40s now,
Mhm.
where I feel like, oh my gosh, I am so glad I worked on this in my early 30s because it used to be when I feel that tension leave my body and I don't move towards the person, it's because I'm like, I, I'm doing a few things. I'm the one who always goes to the
Mm.
person. If I go to the person, they're gonna think I'm a fool. Oh my gosh, I'm such a fool. Like it's that recurring message of I'm such a fool.
Mm.
And there was a point, I don't know, there was a period in my 30s where I was just like, oh my gosh, you are approaching the person not for them, but for you too.
Yeah.
You are, the tension has left your body, and seeking connection again is for you.
Yeah.
It's a good thing,
Yeah.
regardless. And Buddhist principles really helped me with this, where I began to like really dig into the fact that our innate nature is goodness, that
Yeah.
we're innately good, that we're love. Our very nature is love. So any action that moves me towards love is a net good action.
Yeah.
And if someone thinks that because I am moving towards more love, I am a fool, oh my gosh, they are the fool.
Mm.
And so that's where learning relationships that feel safe for me to do that in
Yeah.
has been, and moving on from relationships that did not feel safe
Yeah.
for me to do that. Because yes, there are some relationships that you will end up being the fool
Mhm.
because you're reaching for connection and they are penalizing you for reaching for connection.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing that for my partner or my friend even not to have the skill to be the first to approach
Yeah.
and therefore appreciate me, be more skilled in that arena and saying thank you to me for coming to them. And it's a whole new thing. It's a whole different thing for them to now think that that gives them an upper hand
Yeah.
over me.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to note that distinction
Yeah.
because, but again, I am so glad that I still practiced that. And it would take actual talking to myself out loud. Like, go. If you're full, then you're full. You're practicing this for yourself. Because sometimes we are practicing these skills with the wrong people. And I think it's still valid because you still move that skill that you learn into the next relationship, into the next friendship, into your relationships in general.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, if you're listening, you do know that sometimes practicing these things with certain people, they're not the right person
Yeah.
because they will literally watch you give, and never give back. And the work is still so worthwhile. It is still so worthwhile to do that work of recognizing, okay, the neurotransmitters have left my body. The amygdala is chilling a little bit more. My prefrontal cortex is back online. I feel a little bit of ease. Let me approach.
Yeah.
Because by doing that, you're moving back into love.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything greater than that.
I agree with you so strongly. And I think a great form of self-love is self-trust, nurturing that so
Yeah.
strongly, so deeply rooted that no matter the kind of reaction that you get from anybody that's seeing you trying is going to affect it, because it's not even about them.
Mm-hmm.
They want to make it about them by making you feel small.
Yeah.
But it's really about you working on something that you know inside. Over time, when you look back, you will
Yeah.
say, wow, like, I'm so proud of myself that I trusted myself, that I did that. I worked on something that I told myself I'm going to do. I I met the goal for working on this. I saw myself earnestly, and um even as I was shaking, even as I was stumbling, I was still there for myself. I did not abandon myself. And I
Yeah.
think that's like a strong skill that gets weaponized in a way that makes us do work that's not our concern. Like, we shouldn't be looking at other people doing their own work. We should
Yeah.
be focusing on ourselves.
Yeah.
So if you are feeling challenged on working on the things that you know is going to serve you well,
Mm-hmm.
let this be a reminder that you need to do it for yourself. Be selfish about it.
Yeah.
Yes, let people say something. Let them say. As a matter of fact, the more people say, the more you know you're doing something right for yourself. And inevitably, as you're doing something right, deep down inside, those people that are talking, like, they're low-key jealous that they're not able to assume to that greatness,
Yeah.
to actually recognize you in the
Yeah.
work that you're doing. And that's something I've learned from you. I've become better embodied in that practice, and it has transferred with the way that I approach my parents. I'm able to
Mm.
build relationships with my siblings, and to be less scared of myself, to be less scared of being imperfect, because the like this the fear of being imperfect is stopping me from doing the work of being imperfect,
Yeah.
and then getting to the place where I can see, like, all aspects of myself, all of my parts, all of my shades, all of myselves.
Yeah. I
So,
love that.
yeah,
And another thing that I do want to mention, since we touched on anxious and avoidant and mixed, which, by the way,
I know.
I next we're going to talk about this some other time, but we have to find a decolonial way to talk about
Mhm.
attachment.
Mhm.
Because if we didn't have
Mhm.
English, if we didn't have the West, if we didn't have Western psychology, what would we call these things anyway? But that's besides the point. But if anyone knows, let me know. Is there a decolonial lens to attachment theory?
Yeah.
If you know, let us know, comment, or just like DM us and let us know. But I was saying that as someone who does have a hard time, or who has historically had a hard time letting time pass
Mhm.
without like needing to address things there and then, one thing that has helped me, and I just want to pass this on to anyone else who is this way, is something a friend told me, which is that just as anxious as I am, and all the things, all the emotions going through my body, and oh, let's talk now, let's sit up and talk now, let's talk till 2 a.m. if we need to. And in the story, there's the story that is whirling in that feeling, that the other person who is not doing that, who is not panicking, who is not like reaching out to talk till 2 a.m., does not care, does not love, does not want to mend things. That
Mhm.
that is not true.
Mm.
That they were speaking from their perspective as someone who is an avoidant person, that they are having the same exact feelings internally. It's just not manifesting in a similar way. And it gave me comfort. And she meant for it to give me comfort. It's not like comfort that we're both struggling, but comfort that we're having a human experience, and that othering avoidant people, because there's a lot of that. There's an othering of like
Mhm.
avoidant folks,
Mhm.
that they are uncaring, that they don't want to mend. And I can't speak for everybody in the world who is avoidant, but in my experience and from that conversation I had with her, she's like, we too are scared of losing connection. We too are scared, but we just don't know. The words are not coming out through the mouth to voice it.
Yeah.
And in practice with you, and also maybe because there's safety and trust,
Mm-hmm.
I know you want to connect.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you're not saying it, even when you're not talking exactly when I am, I know you want to connect. I know you want to come back to me. Because you will reach out and hold my hand,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, which can be really hard for me to take as meaning, oh, uh,
Yeah.
like when you reach out and hold my hand, it can feel hard because I'm just like, oh, you just want to brush over the thing.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about the thing. You just want to brush over it. But that's a huge thing I've learned from you, being able to talk about other things other than the actual fight,
Yeah.
being able to
Like,
hold hands.
or even make each other dinner or
Yes,
lunch
yes, things like
and
that
show acts of kindness in between
in
the
between.
things that feel like a struggle to talk about.
So that
Yeah.
that really, even when I'm resistant to it, because you be holding my hand and I'm just like, I just want to talk about it. And until we talk about it, do not hold my hand. I don't do that as much
And I
anymore.
do too. I just sometimes I don't know. I don't want to make things worse. I think that's the thing I keep thinking. I don't want to make things worse. I
Yeah.
should just like say less.
Yeah.
And hopefully when I say something, it's not going to make it worse. And sometimes it does make it worse. So I just have to be less afraid of getting it right and just be more
Courageous, brave.
courageous to be
But
present,
if you
you
notice,
know?
even the times it makes it worse,
Yeah.
it's a curve.
Yeah.
It makes it worse.
And then,
It crescendos,
mhm,
and then it dips, and then everything leaves
leaves.
your body.
So
And it
true.
feels like you're a newborn baby. I want to gift that feeling to every avoidant person who is just like, I don't want to have
I
this
don't wanna.
conversation. Oh my God. Time and time again, being
Yeah.
able to just like talk about the thing eventually.
Mhm.
Yes, we can make the lunch, we can make the
Mhm.
dinner, we can
Mhm.
hold hands,
Mhm.
we can let time for reflection happen.
Yeah.
But that conversation, that going back and forth, getting to know your own mind through the interaction with another human being, and just like getting to see their perspective, getting to understand, ooh,
Yeah.
the relief, the nervous system level relief that comes from that.
Yeah.
I still think that,
It's still tea.
it's still tea. It's still tea.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
And another thing that you have helped me with, and I have learned to do more of, and I teach to that,
Yeah.
is taking time to reflect on what happened.
Yeah.
Um, this is again harder for, well, it appears harder for
Yeah.
anxious people, but I think it's also hard for avoidant folks because that reflection is an intentional state. It's not just not talking about something. It's about, oh, let me dig deep. Where was I at fault? What happened here? Do I agree with what the other person is saying I did? Do I not agree? So that when you come back to the table to have a conversation, have a repair conversation, you're coming up to the table from a place of clarity of your own mind,
Mhm.
right? To some extent, know what you're not folding into shame.
Yeah.
You're not just coming back to say, oh, I am a horrible person. I'm a bad person. Forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. Because apologies suck so bad without reflection.
Mhm.
Because what are you apologizing for?
Mhm.
Why is it so fast? What is like what are you apologizing for? So I've learned a lot from you because sometimes, yes, that it's not just a matter of just like talking immediately. It's a matter of like, have you taken time to reflect to know what actually happened
Mhm.
according to you?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That does help repair move quicker because when
Mhm.
you see both perspectives and you start to see, oh, these are places where we've misunderstood each other, or misinterpreted each other.
Yeah.
And then also part of that reflection is after you've said the thing, having the other person
Mhm.
read back to you, what did you interpret from what I just said?
Yeah.
I think that also part of repair is like allowing the person to feel heard,
Mhm.
allowing yourself to feel heard too and seen. And then in that process, it feels less like we are creating these false images of each other.
Yeah.
You're a bad person. You're a good person, so then I'm a bad person. But we're
Yeah.
actually just two human beings in that process.
The last thing I wanted to touch on is, do you find that conflict and repair and your approach to it differs between a romantic partner
Mm.
and friends, platonic friendships? And why do you think that is, if that's the case?
I don't think there is a real difference other than in your romantic partnership, you are having physical intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
I think the repair process feels very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Do
there,
you think people are as committed to this repair process with their friends?
I don't know.
I don't think they
I don't
are.
know.
I don't think they are.
They don't think so?
I
Okay.
I think that, and I know this from personal experience, where friends have discarded our relationships over
Mm,
like issues that, in comparison to what they put up with their partners, with their romantic partners,
mhm,
is like minute. It's so mind-boggling and it's so
mhm,
sad
mhm.
because, and like it'll be just like something happened, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, you crossed my boundaries. This relationship is no longer for me. That's it. Which they're well within their right to do that. But that's not what's happening in their romantic partnerships. They are going above and beyond. They are with dusty ass men who are not making the move, who are
Mhm.
consistently like
Disappointing them.
disappointing them to the nth degree. But I think that's
Yeah,
patriarchy
that's what I
though,
was gonna
right?
say. I think if it models very heteronormative structures, it feels like that. But
Yeah.
I think within a queer setting, you can challenge that norm.
Yeah. I
That's why I
really
say
hope
I
so.
don't know
Yeah,
because
no.
I think if you are looking again at that lens, it does seem like yeah, friendships are like thrown away, and you and your romantic partner are running up into the sunset, and
And
you
you're
are
in
just
it for
like
the
in it for the long
long.
run.
But your
And nobody
friends,
knows about what's happening, or that if your friend gets too involved, you need to like X them out. They
yeah.
shouldn't be a part of it. Like, yeah, all of that really models punitive culture.
And
And
patriarchy.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just deeply punitive.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah.
I like, really, I think, I know we're a couple. We're a romantic couple
But baseline, we're
doing,
friends.
yeah, I know we're doing this podcast together.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes I'm worried that people are going to think that this is only applicable to romantic
Oh,
settings.
no, no, no.
It is not.
It is not.
Queer your relationships.
Yeah. Queer
Queer
the
as
fuck
a
up
politic.
as a politic. Yeah.
Audre Lorde taught us that.
Yeah.
Queer as a politic, not as who you sleep with.
Mm-hmm.
So all this effort that you put into your romantic relationships, put those same efforts into your friendships.
Mm-hmm.
Where all we got, the friendships and the community you build from that place of friendship,
Yeah.
are who are going to hold you as empire crumbles. They are the people you build infrastructures of care with. They are the people that, like, literally you can share childcare, elderly parent care,
Yeah.
home care with. It's not just your partner or your partners that you sleep with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just want to really, really put that disclaimer out. This is not dating advice. It's
Relational advice.
relational, It's not
Yeah.
even advice per se, but it's applicable. Whatever you get from this,
Mm-hmm.
just remember that it's applicable to more than your romantic relationships. Anything else you want to add?
I think that's it for
I
now.
think we did a good job. I
Yeah.
think this is a topic we can talk about forever.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, we've recorded this 3 different times. So we're going to come back next week talking about something else. We don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're someone who wants to work on your relational skills, I have written 2 workbooks, Relational Skills for Liberation and relational repair manual. You can find them in the link. I'm going to put it in the link. Get them, work through them with the people you're building a life with. We're all we got. And we're not going to do it perfectly, but we can always build more skills.
And with that, I think we'll end the episode.
See you
See you
next
next
time.
week. Bye.